Hi, my name is Jay Martin. This video is going to be about defending against a melee rush that you see sometime in Napoleon from Ottoman players. And somebody asked me to make a video on this. And this is an Empire game. I don't know if you've ever played Empire or not, but Empire's a really great game. And it's obviously the precursor to Napoleon, so Napoleon is going to be a little more polished in some areas. But the gameplay is different enough to make you have to learn about it. I'm kind of a noob at Empire. I just played a handful of games today, actually. And I had a ton of fun doing it. And one of the things that people can do in Empire is they can play the Native American nations, which are all melee based, which might represent what you get from an Ottoman player in Napoleon, and I think the concepts are the same, so I wanted to use this game to get a handle on it. First of all, if you've never played Empire, I really recommend that you get it. I'm sure it's really cheap now because it's been out for so long. The single-player campaign in Empire is excellent. It is much better than the single-player campaign in Napoleon, and honestly, I still load up and I'll play a single-player campaign every now and then. And the other thing is that when you play Empire, what I've noticed is that you're going to see you're not going to see any noobs. Everybody playing Empire is played Empire a lot, so that's what you're going to see. Okay, so the fundamental tactic I want to share with y'all about defending against, defending against a melee attack is call it the falling line tactic. It's essentially a clever way to say kiting. In my opponent's army, he has some ranged troops. That's what these guys all are. And he has some melee troops, and he has some cav. And the falling line tactic essentially means you have to have multiple lines of infantry. Like, see how my infantry is in line there? And you're going to see that my rifles there at the front are going to get first shot against his guys. And then once his guys get into range, I'm going to retreat, or I'm going to kite, depending on how you want to describe it. Yep, there goes my retreat. And so what I'm trying to do is once he gets in range of my first line, sorry, that's an AI to my left that is, or my right there, that's totally freaking out. But if you watch my green dots, as soon as he gets in line in me, you can see he got some shots off at me. Then I'm going to retreat behind my second line, which is going to force him to run up, and then my second line gets shots there, you can see. And then before too long, you're going to see that I'm going to repeat this pattern. Again, sorry for all these lines coming over. And AI does send a cav unit in here, and some AI units show up here, which is not pretty. But in a minute, you're going to watch. So he's almost into my second line, and my second line is going to retreat. Now, the trickiest thing about the falling line tactic is you want to make sure your timing is really good, because if my rifles get a volley off, I think I shoot some of my own guys in the back right there. And you notice I'm withdrawing everybody to create more and more lines to fall back on. And right about now, let's pause, I get my cav in. The great weakness of melee units, be them Semet Janissaries or Bashi Bazooks, is they're really weak to cav. So you want to get your cav involved before their melee guys hit your line. Okay, because once they're engaged in melee with your line, your cav are not going to be nearly as effective. And in this instance, and in most instances in Napoleon against a dedicated melee army from the Ottomans, you're willing to trade your cav for their melee troops, because honestly their melee troops are the biggest weakness to you, or your biggest weakness to them. If they have some cav left over, that's fine. You can always form square against them, but you want to get your cav in before their melee guys actually hit your line is really, really important. And you can see that at this point I've recreated my initial disposition, and it's time to retreat again. And if you're watching this and you say, Jay, this is just fucking kiting. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's kiting. But against a melee army like this, and here comes, I'm withdrawing again. Against a big melee army like this, you really don't have a whole lot of option. If you stand and try to fight a fair game, they're going to win. You know, this is your best option. This player actually does catch me. A bunch of cav comes in through the left that I missed. So you're going to see some emergency squares go up here. But if you follow the chain of battle here, you notice that already the majority of the attack has been blunted, right, up in here. And his melee guys haven't even engaged yet, right? So what I'm able to do pretty successfully here is deny his melee troops the opportunity to actually get involved in melee, right? And if you can do that, then you will eventually shoot them to death. A Janissary unit that's taken 50% casualties by the time it hits your line isn't going to do you a whole lot of good. Okay, so use the falling line tactic and then send in Cav to slow them down. And once my Cav gets these guys pinned in here, again, I'm back to my original disposition: lights in front, line behind, all shooting. That's a really groovy way to kill a bunch of melee infantry. And I want to say, if this is a Napoleon game, this player's Cav charge on the left here would have been much more successful. Empire kind of has this bug where when you hit the square button, you kind of get the effects of the square immediately. So square is a lot more powerful in Empire than it is in Napoleon. So this charge would have been much more successful from this Cav. I think this Cav maybe routes just one of my rifles. They do cause some casualties, but nothing overwhelming. So yeah, that's the strategy. I mean, falling line, just kite, retreat, but you need to do it orderly. You want to start in 3 lines. You want to have your lights in front, and then 2 sets of line, and then you need to retreat them orderly. And it might take a while to get the timing down on how to do it. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but you do it a couple times and you'll get a feel for it. If you're really good, you're going to want to play around with toggling the fire at will buttons for some of your units. And you can see this is me. I realize that my lights are just going to shoot my own guys in the back, so I'm pulling on my lights back right now. And I think we finally are about to kill off all the Cav on the left. At this point, he does get some guys, some survivors in the melee. This is going to happen. At some point, your falling line will probably break down. Mine broke down largely because of the Cav assault there. But I still had Cav left, so I got to charge into his rear. I recommend that you form square. You can see my first Delaware, that's a line unit. I get into square. When a melee unit is going to hit you, you want to get into square, that improves your melee defense. Or it removes the majority of their charge bonus, to be perfectly clear. But the other advantage of being in square right there is it lets my line units in the back shoot through. And you can see that we get a chain route there. And that is that's one of my AI partners. So I think that the Native American player, that's a unit that has survived back there. But I think at this point we've killed most of the Native American player off. And I think here that I lost 2 Cav units, maybe? I'm not really sure. And this is a very good player, but when you play the all-in melee thing and the other opponent knows it's coming, then you can kind of play around it. So the all-in melee builds are fun to bring, but players who know how to do this, this is a really good counter to that tactic. So if you see somebody who loads up and they have 15 Janissaries and 5 Cav, then you want to really quick switch your army into that triple line, lights in front and the 2 sets of line, and then use that falling line tactic where you fall one line behind the next and the next and the next. And again, you might want to be careful with toggling fire at will so you don't shoot yourself in the back. You want to get into square when the melee units hit you. And really important is you want to charge all your Cav into their melee guys before they hit your lines. And if you can do that, then you'll be pretty successful. In this particular game, I wind up getting my ass kicked. You probably can't see that right there, but that's the remains of my army. And my partner on the right is dead, and that's this guy showing up to kill me, and my partner on the left is dying, and this guy's going to show up to kill me too. So I wound up losing this game. So good game to this team. They won the team battle. And that's how team games go. Even though I was able to beat my opponent, this team was still able to win. So it's a team game, and you take what you can, try to support your team as best you can. But try the falling line strategy when someone gets an all-out melee attack on you. Anyway, my name is Jay Martin. I hope you, if this is informative, leave a comment or give a thumbs up, rate, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. And anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll try to put some together for you in the next couple days. Bye.